Amelie, what's happening?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Thank you so much for coming on. Talk to me. What are all the things? Tell me all the things, okay?
Yeah, all the things. I mean, life has been crazy lately. I feel like this year has felt like a million years, but it's also gone by really fast. I have filmed three different movies, some short films, done so much with social media. So it's just been a year that I'm really grateful for the experience. And it's also been my first year living out in LA. So, like I said, it's been like like a bunch of years in one.
I have so many questions. All right, so where did you move from?
I'm originally from Florida, like a small town girl. I live on a farm. I have a pet pig, like totally different vibe. And now I'm out here and I love it. It's very different, but also similar in some ways to Florida.
You made it to the big city. Okay, so at what point in your career were you thinking to yourself, okay, I need to get the hell up out of Florida and move to LA?
Oh, I feel like honestly, when I was around like 15, 16, I like had a feeling that I was like, I definitely want to move out to California. But
Mhm.
I also didn't know if that was like a possibility. You know, when you're all the way on the other side of the country, it's kind of like, oh, like, is that really a thing? Can you just like go out there and do that? But when I was about 15, 16, I filmed Chicken Girls, which is like a web series, if you know what that is. And it was so much fun. And that kind of helped open some more doors, and I was like, maybe this is something that I can pursue. And it's always been a passion of mine and like what I wanted to do. And I always tell people, like, if you have a dream, commit to it and make it happen. So I was like, I got to move out there after COVID and see what works.
So you're 19 right now, right? And you which means you moved out here when you were hella young, and the fact that you did it, you took a leap of faith and you focused on yourself and you betted on yourself. Like I think that's commendable.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I think, like I said, like, we've all been the same age before. We're all just continuing to grow. It's like, why not jump in it while you can? I mean, there's kids right now that are like 12 years old that are already committing and doing these things. So it's like, I feel like I always say, just age is just a number. If you're ready to do something, full send, do it. But you also need to like find the balance. Like sometimes I forget I'm 19 years old and like I'm just like go 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 with work, which I love. I like that lifestyle, but I'm also like, you need to take a step back and do some like just normal things too.
You know what that means? That means you are hella mature. Because let me tell you something, at 19, 17, 18, whatever, I don't think that I would be able to just get up and go and move halfway. You literally moved across the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could do something like that. It took me forever just to be out on my own and to do my own thing, if that makes sense.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm sure you did amazing things, but yeah, I've always just like I loved living in a small town, but I was also just like ready to like the world is so big. Like I want to just like take in more of it and absorb like what's around me. So I was just ready. And my parents kind of grew like raised me to be very like independent. So I never like I wasn't really scared of the idea of like not living at home anymore. I knew that I was gonna get to go home and visit and like things like that. And so it's been good so far.
So you mentioned you had a couple of TV shows and movies and things like that that you're working on. How did you get started into acting?
Yeah, so the acting story is really fun because I'm originally a dancer and I'm still a dancer to this day.
Mhm.
And acting was always like I did some like theater things when I was younger and I had a lot of fun with it, but I never like saw myself like, oh, I'm gonna be an actor, like at all. And then when I was 15, I got the audition for Chicken Girls like randomly, and it was my first like acting experience. And I had so much fun on set. Like what happens behind the scenes and just like how shows are formed and created and everything that goes into it inspired me so much, and kind of just getting to become these different people, like these characters, was really cool because the first character I played was a mean girl, and like it's so different from how it would ever be in real life, but I kind of fell in love with that idea because it's like you get to become someone that you'll never hopefully be in real life and kind of go through these experiences that you'll never experience in real life. So once I did that, I was like, maybe I could start acting. And then kind of COVID hit right around after that. And so things got really weird. I started doing more social media. And then kind of now proceed to here. I started doing more acting auditions and things have kind of just worked. And like I said, I'm super grateful that I've had the opportunity to do what I'm doing.
Can I just tell you that I feel like acting would give me so much anxiety? And let me tell you why, because I am someone who can't remember anything. So the fact that you want me to remember lines, remember my mark, remember everything like that, I would hate to ruin a scene because I forgot like where to stand or my words, and everybody has to go through that scene all over again. You know what I mean?
No, I totally get that. Like, I feel like, especially like as an actor, like that first day on set, like when you're walking in, you're so like, I always call it nerve sighted. You're just like nervous and excited, but you're like, oh my gosh, like you can definitely feel the nerves. But like as the days go on, you just really like you sink in, you become a family, and it's like everyone's gonna like forget sometimes. And like, it's you also like when you're filming, like that's one thing. If you're doing like theater and stage performances, like they have so much pressure. It's like, do not mess up. But if you're doing TV, of course, you don't want to mess up. But if someone has like a moment, you can always like stop, cut, reset. Like you're not filming like a whole thing in one.
Do people get mad at that? Like, dang it, you had to forget your lines.
I No, I feel like it's super like understandable, like that everyone's like sometimes people are super tired and having a long day. I have like a really weird memory, like I always have. So I tend to like know my lines and then also like remember other people's. It's like the weirdest thing. Like I don't know how or why. Like my brain has always just been kind of like that. So like I'm always the weirdo that like knows the person's line sometimes to help them out. But yeah, I feel like no one really gets like upset.
How do you remember lines?
It's like people ask me that, and I think for me, it's just like reading it. I'll like kind of read it a few times, like just kind of over and over, and it just starts to lock in. And I think something that like any actors that are out there like looking into like learning how to remember things better, I think reading with someone helps a lot too, because it like gets the flow, and then for some reason your brain will just like pick up on that really quick. But yeah, I've always just kind of picked up on memory things fast.
I tell you one thing, like I tell you what, like doing a soap opera where they have to do one show a day and you just thinking about all of those lines that they have to remember. I'm like, how do these people do it? It really is an art. You know what I'm saying?
Gosh, it's such a like people will sometimes say like, oh, like acting's so easy and like things like that, but it's like it's truly a work of art. And like watching some of these actors and the way they perform, like I just went to a recent premiere that for May December, and watching like Natalie Portman, like she did this like really beautiful monologue, and it's like watching the specific choices they make as actors, like it's not easy to do that, and it's so beautiful to watch people just create these beautiful creations on screen.
What is one thing that you feel like you've learned? You had no idea about acting until you got on sets and actually getting into it. What's one thing that you feel like you've learned from it?
I feel like I've learned a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. I mean, being on set is the one place. I mean, there's a lot of places in this industry to learn, but you absorb so much in that like room. And I think personally, I've learned like calmness in a lot of ways. In the sense that like you step in there and you'll have the nerves, you'll have like this and that, and you can watch these actors that have done it for a long time. They'll like be like, oh, like da da da, and then they'll settle, and the calmness into like creating their characters, I think I've really like had the opportunity to learn too. And so I've learned kind of how to like proceed into that, which has been really nice.
Can you tell us more about your roles in like Off Rip and also Deadly Influence?
Yes. So with some of these movies that are coming out, I had one that recently just came out, Danger Lurking Under My Roof, which is on like streaming, Lifetime, Hulu, all of those. And that one, since that's out, I'll definitely talk more about that.
Hmm?
It was such a like fun experience. It was the first movie I've ever done, and we shot it. It was really cold, and it was like just so much fun. So the character that I play in that is Lucy, and she's it's just me and my mom, and we're going to live with this kind of richer family that we like don't know at all. They're just renting out their back house. It's like a tiny little house, and we're kind of going to be the new tenants. And it's kind of about Lucy being looked at in a very different way just because of maybe how she dresses or like her family situations at first. Like she's very judged, and then flows into relationships being built, and then something crazy happens. There's some kidnapping and some kind of thriller-esque vibes in the movie, so it takes a very interesting turn, and getting to kind of tap into that more horror thriller side was really really cool. And I actually found a big passion for that because it's just what goes on behind the scenes, like creating those scary situations is really fun.
Can I tell you that doing a horror movie, I don't know what it is about it, but it just almost seems scary going in and out of a character, like being yourself and then going into like those emotions. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you get these like adrenaline. Like I filmed the scene where like in Deadly Influence, there's without like giving anything away, I'm running down a hall, like sprinting. And like the way you get into these scenes, like I felt like I was running for my life, and then like they'll yell cut and you're like, what just happened? But it's really fun though. Like I personally love it.
Yeah, like how do you come down from that? Like it's like, and then all of a sudden you're like back to normal when they're yelling cut.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Go again," and you're like, "Okay," and you're, like, running back, and I remember, like, I ran into the wall because, like, we were, like I was running so fast, like, we just, like, crashed in the wall, like, I had bruises and, like, little ones, and it was such a fun experience.
I kind of get why people are method actors, you know, or people that are constantly staying in character because jumping in and out would seem exhausting, almost seems exhausting.
Yeah, I definitely think that, like, when you're filming, like, if I have a day where I have, like, heavier scenes or just, like, a lot where I, like, know my character and, like, emotion needs to be a certain way, I definitely, like you don't act like that, of course, like, around your peers, but you do have to, like, stay small. Like, if you're supposed to do a really, really, like, emotional scene, you don't wanna be like, "Hey, guys, what's up?" You know? Like, you try to, like, keep yourself in that more, like, method acting situation.
Really?
I think so. Like, I feel like people will tend to, like, not be as talkative when they have a scene coming up, and then, like, once their scene's over, it's like, "Oh, hey, guys," like, it just depends though, I guess.
Tell me, what are you working on next?
Next, oh, I'm so excited. I have right now, like, after the strike, obviously, the strike was a very interesting situation for all actors, but such a beautiful situation at the same time because it was necessary and needed to happen. So that was kind of,
Mhm.
I feel like, another like mini COVID in a way for actors, obviously in very different circumstances.
But I
But
am so glad. Let me just say, I am so glad that we're about to get some new TV shows and new movies.
yes, exactly. So that's where kind of like I was going into it, like so much is just flowing in, and I am so excited. There is just so much coming that, we're going to see what's going to happen with, but I'm really grateful and just like can't wait to share with everyone kind of what's coming with that. And then obviously I have the movies I can talk about that are coming out soon, and I'm really excited for everyone to see.
Do you feel like it's about to be an influx? And also, do you feel like people are like these studios where it comes to like TV shows and movies? Do you think that they are really about to go hard body with like the writing and also pushing out all of the content and the product and things like that? Do you think that that's about to happen?
See, like, I hope that's about to happen, but I also think I feel like everyone's just trying to, like, get back on track and almost play catch up in some aspects. Like, there's things that were supposed to come out and haven't come out, and, like, so I feel like people are gonna be catching up, but I also think that, like, over the strike, like, I'm sure writers have come up with these, like, insane stories, that everyone's gonna be trying to pitch out and see what gets picked up. So I'm excited to kinda see what happens over these next few years because I think it's very unpredictable because I think there's very different, like, routes it could go.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of the new seasons will start in January. So I'm sure a lot of people are like just writing to meet that deadline because a lot of the seasons didn't start in September where they normally started.
Exactly. I mean, just everything. Like all of these movies that were like, "Oh, like we're going to do this, we're going to do this." And then we're like, "We're not doing this." So it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens, what doesn't, just everything like that.
I tell you what, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for jumping on. I feel like I can talk to you all day.
No, me too. I like forgot we were doing an interview. I was just having fun talking to you. But thank you so much.
Absolutely. Please come back when you got some more things that you want to chat about, some more movies, TV shows. We're always here to support, okay?
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I love supporting you guys as well.
Thank you.